So Nate, let me ask you this. We're going to pick up from where we left off, the control unit. And once you realized what you needed to do to survive, could you elaborate more on that?
Looking at it from a perspective of consciousness, right? Control unit was designed by the BOP, to actually break a man down. But after you get to that level of institutional adjustment, they call it institutional adjustment purposes, but it's a program designed for killing off the men that can't be broken, to a regiment that they may design for the transformation of that particular man. Now, once that man reached that level of what you call disciplinary problems, disciplinary a thorn in the side, so to speak, you know what I mean. These the type of men deemed according to their system or according to their program that can't be transformed on any level. So actually, it's a program set up to kill each other, to have these men kill each other off. You got psychological deranged men. I mean, they broken in the sense that anytime individual, what you say would come and get away from his own nature, so to speak. Once a man become, once he get away from his own nature as a human being and don't have no respect, for the life of creation itself, that's a deranged man. But you have to take on these characteristics and understanding in order to survive. Here's a program that the BOP set up. Now, this is supposed to be the most secure unit in the whole BOP. The maximum is 23 in, 1 hour. And designed for, you can't communicate with people. That is, you can't be around people. You have one rec partner. One. And you might rec with that individual man for maybe a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. However long you might have to, however long your stay is in there. Now, but at the same time, as it was designed, whenever you come out that box, you 23 in, 1 hour out the box. Whether it's outside, you get 2 hours a week outside, 1 hour. Every hour, 1 hour on the range, 1 hour. The other 3 is in the box, 23. The other 23 is in the box.
Could you describe the size of the actual box or the cell?
The cell is 8 by 11. 8 feet wide, 11 feet deep. They accommodate you, whatever electronic accessory that the BOP sells at that time that you probably can purchase in the open population. They give you a TV, a 13-inch black and white TV, black and white. Over a period of years, your eyes go bad, radio, if you can afford a radio, and all this thing, all these accessories is ran by electricity. They give you a radio, or whatever, but back then they just had radios and TVs that they provide for you,
What was the average stay of the typical convict that made it to a control unit? How long do they typically stay there?
All depends. You come in for your first time in. You come in. If you might wait maybe 18 months to 2 years to get your cell bed in control. So that's 2 years in the hole, whatever institution, like myself, I stayed in Leavenworth hole for about 18 months, almost 2 years, just to get a bed in control. So when I got to control, I stayed in control about 3.5, 4 years. Once I got there. So that's amount to what, about 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
You know, easy, you know, in a box. But once you get there, the regimen is you pick up more disciplinaries while you're there. You know, that extend your stay. You know, you have a visit from the regional office. The regional office is the office that actually runs the program. You know, not the institution. You know, the regional office, whatever office that like Marion was, you know, what was that? The northeastern region? No, the north central region, I think. Yeah, the central region, regional office. You know, that ran Marion control unit program. And then Colorado, I think that's the western region right now. ADX.
I think so.
Yeah, western region. And whereas though when they had Alcatraz Island, you know, that was the western region too, I think. But Marion at that time was, the central regional office. Come out of Chicago, I think. Yeah, out of Chicago.
And could you elaborate on weather conditions within that cell?
The conditions was basic environmental, the weather, whatever it was cold, it stayed cold. They kept the windows open. I don't care what degrees it was outside. You know, the cell was, the range was wide as you could put maybe a space of the length of a handball court. That's how wide the range itself was, not counting the cells, you know. And they kept the windows open, you know, just like you sleeping outside, man, you know. You know, and it's all concrete and iron, you know. But one thing I can get it, guys, though, you know, I can get them in. Everybody stayed in shape, man. They had the equipment out there, you know, had the universal machines out there, they had the punishing balls out there, they had the handballs. You know, when you get on that handball, go get that cardio in. In other words, the range is wide enough that you can actually get on and run the track. You know, once you're out, up until the point they put the cages in. You know, so the weather condition was always cold, always. You know, I mean, you know, it's just like you were sleeping outside, man. You know, and it was by design. You know, they could have easily go on the range and close the windows. But nah, you know, we couldn't reach the windows because we didn't have the tools to close the windows. You know, one of them slot windows, you got the winder, you got to wind it in. You know, they took the winder out so we couldn't close the windows. So they kept the windows open. You know, to us, we took it as a measure of health because, you know, we got ventilation, fresh air. You know what I mean? All the rest of the adjustments, we had our sweat gear, you know, we had our linen and stuff like that. We adjusted just like that, you know. So, you know, we had that fresh air. You know, it was good. And
you mentioned the mental health aspect of it, and do you think a lot of the convicts got adequate mental health service?
No, you didn't. You didn't in control. You didn't get no mental health services. You know, we got to bear in mind now who designed control.
Yeah, that's true.
We talking about top psychiatrists,
from all
psychologists. We talking about when the BOP, you know, official designed that program, because it's a program.
Yeah.
You know, that's a program that was designed by top psychologists, psychiatrists. Yeah. They the one that's assigned. Now, That program was designed to either break a man down or destroy that man. Because in other words, he destroyed either way.
Yeah.
You know, if you hold on to your sanity, you still broke.
Yeah.
Because you got to get away from your nature.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, if you break all the way down, being less than what they want you to be, you still messed up. Because they done took from you.
And that was the purpose of the program.
That was the purpose for the program. So it was a program designed to actually kill the man.
Yeah.
But you had men that went under that program that they couldn't break down either way. He couldn't. Well, if anything, he made that man. Mm-hmm. So when they made that man, they couldn't. They didn't have no other measure to break that man. So it was one measure left, is to kill that man. Mm-hmm. And that measure, they perfected it. That measure. And how they perfected that measure to kill that man, they turned each man off on each other. You see what I'm saying? Now, but the measure to carry out the deed, it was all about procedure. You know what I mean? They provided the tools. They kept the process. That is the operation of. So it was more or less that man himself, to stay alive, he had to master the procedure that they had for the operation of that program, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. You know, the time you got your rep. You know, who's behind you to rep. You know, and each operation is ran by time every day. You know, on the dot. When it came down to that man's hour out there on the range, the officer was on time. Because you could not go overtime in another man's space, mm-hmm. which is his time, that hour. So they was on time for that. So everything was run by time. Mm-hmm. The whole operation was ran by time. And here you have a man would sit down and master that operation and breach that operation under those stringent conditions and still get his man. Something was wrong. Yeah. And not only that, you had tools. How can a man under a tight condition like that get the same and more tools that another man could possibly get in an open population? You know, then you had every measure of iron that a man can use to kill another man right in that space right there. How is that possible for an individual to have those type of tools in a tight space like that, a tight environment like that? So you know you had someone else playing the game with other people, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, now in this scenario, with these type of people that was running the program, they was masters too in breaching the procedures, right? Mm-hmm. To get their man too. See? And provide the tools to do it with. There's no way that a man, if you send me the control unit, do 5 years of control unit for whatever I've done in another BOP institution, whatever I've done. Now, I went to the control unit because they said that I assaulted an officer. That's what they say. They say, man, I suppose that, you know, jumped on this officer and beat him down to a pup and all the rest of this old type of stuff. That's what they say. But I was the one that got beat down. You know, I was the one that got beat down, but they gave me that assault charge. you know, and here I am sitting up there for whatever they were charging me with, and you know, I was under investigation for a minute for other little things, but they claimed that while I was in Building 63 in Leavenworth, being under investigation for another incident within that institution, that I supposed to assaulted an officer, you know.
Well, those who control the actual, the movers and shakers, they can pretty much sway into their best interest who they want to cherry pick out to have out of their breath or out of their head, which they dumped in controlling.
It pretty much so. They had when they want to really eliminate you,
Yeah.
that's where they sent you. You know, we lost a few. No, we didn't lose number one in my generation in control. We lost a guy named Steamboat. You know, Steamboat actually was, he was psychologically impaired. Instead of him being in Springfield getting psychological help, they had him in control, knowing that eventually, someone was gonna kill him, because of the type of things he said, that his activity, so forth, so on. And that's the only one, the district laws, as far as our numbers in control. Then you had, Cadillac, Raymond Smith. You lost Raymond Smith in control, and basically, to answer your question, he was one, as well as Steamboat was one that they wanted to eliminate. And when they use their procedures and their system for the purpose of that elimination, like I was saying earlier, that particular incident, how can it happen without the people that are actually running the program, made it so. Now, they made it so because they allowed, the Nazi party, which they was Nazi themselves, to breach the procedure in the rec program, that each man come out that 1 hour, in the process, in that 1 hour, you had 15 minutes for a shower, Now, this is after they put the cages in. At first, they had a wide open range, but after they put the cages in, so it was procedurally breached. And in that process, you had a couple of, I would say, zip guns on the range. Zip guns, one shot. One shot, you got zips that shoot 22 shells, you got zips that shoot 32 shells. I think anything powerful than that, your pipe got to be stronger, like a 45 shell. Your pipe got to be stronger to withstand the impact of that explosion of that shell. So, but they had pipes that withstand what you call the impact of 32 shell, 22 shell. Then they had those.